On va réguler, on va cricata juste l'air là. On va reculer, on va cricata juste l'air là. On va reculer, on va cricata juste l'air là. Tout le monde venez, on va danser, on va danser.
Monday, November 22nd, 2021. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us on the 6:30 p.m. edition of News on My Media Plan Television, live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. I begin today's newscast in the West region, where two men are currently under police custody for theft and attempted murder in Fumbo. The men allegedly said to be internally displaced persons were hired to work on a farm, but instead decided to kill their employer, Conway Martin. Nora Kakebi completes the story for us.
This man, Conway Martin, seemingly in his late 50s, was attacked by two young men he hired to work on his farm in Maka village in Fumbot subdivision in the west region of Cameroon. The young men, Venu Alain Brice Fonui, 16 years old, and Alain Rigobel Sangui, 21 years, are both internally displaced from the restive northwest region, who were hired to work on Conway Martin's farm. Instead of working and receiving their dues, they both resorted to terminate Conway Martin's life. Fortunately enough, he did not die as they intended, though he sustained severe injuries. He recounts.
My name is Conway Martin. I hired the boys to work on my farm, and when I got to the farm, they were idling. I asked why they were not working, and they said the farm is too vast and they don't know the limit. And as I turned to leave, one of them hit me hard on my back with a machete. And as I turned around, the other also hit me on the head with a stick. Then I fell down.
The victim further explained the attacker's reaction when he slumped and pretended to have died.
When they hit me, I fell down unconscious and they thought I was dead. They took away my money worth 700,000 francs. It was a passerby who helped me to the hospital.
While he is currently receiving medical attention in a private hospital in Fumbot, the two men who attempted to kill him have already been arrested and under custody at the police station in Fumbot. They will be taken to the military tribunal for justice to take its course.
The third group has donated 100 tons of rice to the government of Cameroon to help internally displaced persons in the northwest and southwest regions. The consignment of 2,040 bags of rice was handed to Territorial Administration Minister Paul Athanganji on Friday. Get full details right ahead. Territorial Administration Minister Paul Athanganji on Friday, November 19, received a consignment of 100 tons of rice donated by Vietnamese company represented by Tran Hong Am.
We are an organized country, so we cannot receive anything from any opposition without the formal approval of President Ford. So they wrote to the head of state, and the head of state gave instructions to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to study the file and send it to us so that we can officially come and receive this gun. I think it's something which shows that the world has become a global village and that people are concerned with difficulties in other places of the world.
The donation by the received by Minat Boss on high instructions from President Paul Biya is to assist internally displaced persons in the northwest and southwest regions.
This is a relief package. You can see that the governors are here. So at the end of the ceremony now, the governors will take it out. But the president instructed, the head of the state instructed that this thing the relief package, 100 tons of rice should be distributed equitably, 50% northwest, and that it should go to those who are needing. This is when you will touch all the seven divisions in the northwest and the 6 divisions in the southwest.
Present during the occasion was governors of the northwest and southwest regions, who stated the donation is quite timely, coming at a time of end-of-year festivities.
Gesture is coming timely ahead of the end-of-year festivities, and it is a relief for the early days of the north region, coming to add what the governor also done so far, what the other partners are doing on a daily basis to help those populations. We are now following the instruction of the minister to make sure it is distributed to the targeted population in Northwest region by the various administrative authorities.
Express our gratitude to the hotel company and to the government, the head of state, gave his account.
The donation from Vithal has however sparked controversies surrounding its intention following a battle between Bestom, a local company, and Vital Global over ownership of Nextel. The reception of the consignment of 240 bags of rice took place at a military base in Douala, Cameroon.
Now, displaced persons from the northwest region of Cameroon now residing in Nun Division in the west region rounded of a multicultural festival yesterday, November 21. The cultural festival held under the theme promoting peace and integration between internally displaced persons and the local population. Get full details in the following report with Catherine Ekongwe.
Internally displaced persons in Fumbot have organized a multicultural festival. This event had several activities such as football matches, different traditional dances, mini agro-pastoral show, fashion show, and others. It took place under the theme promoting peace and integration between internal displaced persons and local population. The opening ceremony on Sunday, November 7, saw the presence of the divisional officer for Fumbot subdivision, Jude Ewane, the mayor of the municipality, Joya Nsah, and traditional ruler of Fumbot, His Royal Majesty, Fon Quinter. Also present was a member of parliament from Jokuchunja North, Honorable Njingum Musa. The festival was an avenue to celebrate the values of living together, social cohesion, and cultural wealth. Several material donations such as machetes were given to internally displaced women to encourage them in the cultivation field.
Now, a platform to advocate for the return to the federal system of government in Cameroon has been launched. The Coalition of Cameroon Federalist Group and activists with the mission to work towards the re-establishment of federalism in Cameroon was launched over the weekend during a virtual press conference. Get full details with Lasha Kingsley.
The chair, as Dr. Simon Monzo, the Coalition of Cameroon Federalist Groups and Activists, has as mission to work towards the re-establishment of federalism in Cameroon, consistent with the historical evolution of the country, the spirit of the constitution and reunification, and the contemporary realities that warrant effective devolution of power.
Federalism offers the best prospect of instituting in Cameroon a form of democratic governance suitable for overcoming our nation's governance, institutional, socio-political, and economic development challenges.
Dr. Simon Monzo, during his keynote address, condemned the recent killings in the northwest and southwest regions, while reminding the stakeholders for the need of a negotiated settlement to end the war.
By contrast, a negotiated settlement is sure to result in the adoption of federalism. By nature, federalism is the highest level of decentralized governance. It is the point at which tolerance, mutual respect, fair play, solidarity, and cohesion in our society meet.
Responding to questions from media professionals during the virtual press conference on whether Francophones are comfortable with federalism, members made it clear that they are tackling federation from the historical, constitutional, and contemporary perspectives.
Whether you Francophones don't like it, you should have objected, because if the Francophone had said in 1961, we don't want to join with former Southern Cameroons and become a federation, then the option of independence as a sovereign state or as part of Nigeria would have become actual to the people of former Southern Cameroon. Since the people of East Cameroon agreed that let us come together as brothers and sisters and figure out how we are going to live, the Constitution of 1961 was not perfect, but it was perfectible. The referendum of 1972 was not a means of perfecting that contract. It made the contract worse, and it made the unity of the country endangered.
Members also cleared the air on a possible referendum and many surveys that have been carried out by groups and individuals which reveal majority of Southern Cameroonians want to leave the union.
We're saying that if we are to survive as a country and as a nation, we must be a constitutional democracy, and that constitution, the contract for our reunification, it says no to separation. It says no to the unitary state. So these two positions are not to be accepted. Even if you have 100%, that vote cannot take place. The president of Cameroon does not have the authority to put a referendum before the people of Northwest and Southwest to choose to separate. The Constitution does not give him that power, and we should not allow him to continue to get power that he does not have. So this is a very important point that we may want to take home, that the polls we might see, if you ask the question, how are you going to get that independence? Yes, if Northwest and Southwest wants to obtain independence by winning a war, they can wage that war of independence. If they are victorious, no law is going to apply in that circumstance. But as you and I may know, that war is unlikely to be won in 20, 30, or 40 years.
There is no sovereign state in the world where the United Nations or anybody else would go in there and conduct a referendum without the consent of those in power. None. And we do not see at present, realistically, how the regime in Yaoundé would accept that a referendum be conducted, the outcome of which they know, like you and me, would be that we separate.
The coalition ended by calling upon all Cameroonians, especially those of the Northwest and Southwest regions, at home and abroad, to actively and collectively participate in their endeavor to re-establish a federal system of governance in Cameroon.
Lasha Kingsley reporting there now councillors of the Adamawa Council have been instructed to develop strategies with technical services for a better distribution of financial resources. This was during the second ordinary session of the Adamawa Council held on November 19, 2021. Audrey Zadza tells us more.
The solemn opening of the second ordinary session of the Adamawa Regional Council, which took place Friday, November 19, in the conference room of the Murdoch Wood, was devoted mainly to the debate on the orientation of the 2022 budget. A session placed under the chairmanship of Dr. Muhammadu Dewa, President of the Council.
It's our first session, ordinary, concerning the debate for our budget 2022. I think this session will give opportunity all our councillors from our region, I mean my Banyo, Mbere, Faro Edeu, Vina, to see what happened in next budget 2022 is happening. I told in my speech, we have only 4 months and have to execute our budget. Only 4 months. We are very happy because we execute already our budget. Already. We are going to prepare for the next budget on December.
The opening of this session allowed the chairman of the board to present the flagship activities that have been carried out and those that will be taken into account by the budget of the said board for the development of the education sector, environment and health in the region. On the education sector, the main proposal is to create inclusive high schools and colleges equipped with pedagogical material. Creating a regional hospital annex is another proposal for the health sector, and as far as the environment, land use planning and housing is concerned, The main proposal is to carry out in-depth research in partnership with competent services to fight against the inappropriate use of lands in the region. Expressing his gratitude to the regional advisors for their participation in all directions, the chairman of the board instructed them to develop strategies with the technical services for a better distribution of financial resources. This session, which ended this November 22, 2021, saw the presence of regional councillors and state representative, the governor of the Adamawa region.
Now, the women wing of the Fanji Development and Cultural Association met in Limbe over the weekend for their annual General Assembly. The assembly, which took place at the Chamber of Commerce down Beach Limbe, saw the election of their first ever national bureau. Joy Ngang completes the story.
Women are generally considered as an indispensable factor for community development. It is for this reason that the Fanji Women Development and Cultural Association took the initiative to organize themselves into a well-structured national bureau for an effective delivery of developmental projects.
We came to Limbe to set the pace for this our cultural group. Yes, that's the female wing of FACA. As it goes, you know, women have emancipated, and it's time for us to also keep abreast the necessary innovations. That is why we are here today.
Upon election, the first ever national bureau already has a handful of projects in the pipeline.
We have to carry out projects. The projects will be in three phases: educational, financial projects, developmental projects. For educational, to encourage children who are going to school; financial, to make women to be able to produce more money, to make more money, so that they can be financially stable these difficult times in Cameroon.
The Fanji women can equally count on the support of their men, as the #1 man in the community, the paramount ruler of Bafanji, pledged in his full support for the initiative and the valorization of their role in community development.
Behind every successful man is a powerful man. Behind every successful organization is the presence of a successful women organization. That is why we are here today, to make sure that Bafanji, the Development and Cultural Association of Bafanji, should be complete, so that we should act and pass along for every society that has development as its ultimate must involve women.
The Fanji Women Development and Cultural Association calls on the entire population to rally behind them and set the pace for development in Bafanji.
Our new journalism association, the Menchum Journalists Union, last Friday in Yaoundé officially presented the ESCO of the association to other member associations. The ESCO of 7, with Cham Victor as president to pilot the affairs of the union, has as mission to transform mindset through effective electoral communication. Get full details right ahead with Charles Kiwa.
A new union, the Menchum Journalists Union Meju, goes into action at a time the ongoing armed conflict in the Northwest region has affected all divisions, including Menchum Division, which now need team effort from the people of the division to start reach out for peace. Meju swinging into action Friday, November 19 in Yaoundé for recognition and future collaboration, officially presented to other members associations and EXCO of 7 members elected with Cham Victor as president.
It is the mandate of peace. Peace is the new weapon to unite Meju, to unite Menchum journalists, and of course, to use peace to achieve justice and unity. I think it's time for us to come together as one people with one common future. I think the vision we have is very simple. Without peace, we can't achieve nothing. So I think that now is the moment for us to bury our differences and come together as one. Like it or not, Meju has come to promote peace. Peace is promoted yesterday, peace is promoting today, and peace will promote tomorrow.
Meju, created in 2001 with aim to rally Menchum journalists, the association is apolitical, non-profit making, non-denominational, non-tribal, as well as not based on gender. With motto promoting best practices with the journalism profession, the newly elected president has as mission to transform mindset through effective rural communication for things to move better.
We expect them, as they have really confirmed, we expect them to bring out some of those positive, we are talking about mainstream journalist union. There should be positivity at the level of mainstream division, at the level of the Northwest, the level of Cameroon in general. Let the journalists who are from that extraction see how they can change the present dispensation and to see that things move better than they were before.
The Mainstream Journalist Union made with 18 articles as rules and regulations governing the union. Kamasej National President Jude Viban happy most Meju members are of Kamasej, assured Meju of collaboration if need be. He was particular as need to synergize efforts towards development and peace. To Benedict Ndingwan, Director of Communication at Camtel, he equally assured Meju of offers and support to meet their objectives as a union.
Now, traditional rulers from Tiko subdivision held their 4th quarterly meeting for the year 2021 over the week, and these chiefs took firm commitment to uphold the values of peace and unity. Kuma Honore tells us more on the following report.
Traditional rulers from Tiko subdivision in Fako division have resolved to uphold peace, unity, and development as a tool for the socio-economic development of their respective communities. They took this resolution during the 4th quarterly coordination meeting of traditional rulers in Tiko subdivision that took place at the palace of Bonganjo village over the weekend. Welcoming his peers at his ultra-modern palace, the traditional ruler of Bonganjo village, His Royal Highness Chief Litake Mwangambwa, thanked the chiefs for choosing his palace to host the coordination meeting. He called on them to come up with constructive criticisms that is geared towards building a strong bond amongst them for the growth of the conference and the entire villages in Tiko subdivision. Presiding over the quarterly come together, the president of Tiko Chiefs Conference, His Royal Highness Chief Kombe Richard Ndike, admonished his peers to bury their differences and work for the interests of the conference. He challenged them to put their hands together and work for the return of peace in their respective villages. It is worth mentioning that the collaboration that existed between the chiefs of Tiko Chiefs Conference has dwindled in recent time as a result of a fallout of the elections into the Southwest House of Chiefs, where the tussle for position between the current president of the Tiko Chiefs Conference and the paramount ruler of Mongo ended up in the High Court in Buea with a judgment in favor of the candidacy of Chief Kombe Richard Ndike. This has highly affected the camaraderie that existed in this conference, as some chiefs decided to boycott the conference for personal reasons.
I want to first of all thank the head of state for giving us the strength and opportunities to exercise opportunities like this and exercises like this. With traditional rulers, it's our routine principle that we have quarterly meetings in various chiefdoms. And the host of this meeting today was our paramount ruler of the Mongo area, who is Kala Eso Isha. Because of certain circumstances of his health situation, the team decided to transfer it to the chief of Bonganjo to host us this day of today. To discuss our worries, the situations we have at hand, and how we can forge ahead to support the administration and the state of Cameroon in the days ahead, following the present circumstances of crisis we are facing. So I think that's why this meeting is held here today. And to safeguard our tradition and traditional culture.
The quarterly come together provided a suitable environment for the voices of the ancestors to be invoked, calling for peace to return to the land, with the recent killing of a member of the secret society of the Bakweri dance group, commonly called Nganya, strongly condemned.
Some people say it was an accident. And if situations like this happen, we owe a duty to plead with the entire population, both of our children in the bushes and the militaries, to be cautious of the way they exercise their duties. Nobody is going out there really that want to go and kill somebody. Nobody goes going out there thinking that I'll meet a bullet on my way. And they themselves were exhibiting their traditional right at that period for some cleansing exercises.
The event was characterized with traditional displays from the elephant dance, commonly called Malay dance, Nganya dance, and traditional choral music to the admiration of all and sundry.
Late Honorable Nsah Ewane has been described as a political icon worth emulating. This was in Bangem on Saturday during the funeral ceremony of the one-time mayor and member of parliament who lived between 1932 and 2021. Get details with Tamfu Sidwan.
The turnout at the Buea Regional Hospital on Friday, 19 November 2021 was obvious as family members and mourners gathered for the removal of the remains of late Honorable Nsah Ewane. The funeral convoy later on hit the road from Buea to Bangem town, where he was accorded a night vigil. During the funeral ceremony on Saturday, 20 November 2021, the one-time mayor of Bangem and member of parliament was described by the Deputy Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, Elon Poche, as a celebrated and refined politician.
You cannot talk about Bakosi without talking about Honorable Ewane. He was the first chairman of the Kumba Eastern Council, which is the mother council of Bangem and Tombe councils. He was municipal administrator for Bangem Rural Council. He was mayor for Bangem Council. He was parliamentarian for Kupe Maninguba, member of parliament. And in fact, I'll tell you, he was a beacon, the kind of person who created impact everywhere and at any stage, every stage in his life. He's been a leader throughout. Even when he went to parliament, he was vice president of the National Assembly. So he was that kind of person who had natural leadership qualities.
On their part, family members did not mix words when they say the political life of Honorable Nsah Ewane was worth emulating.
My father was a good man. He was a politician. He was a great man. And he loves people. He was a man of the people. And that's the legacy he left behind. And that's the legacy I will continue till the rest of my life.
My father was a very loving, caring. He could give his all for the progress of his community. And that is what made him a great political icon, because he was so selfless.
Papa was a very peaceful man. He never thought of having an enemy. All what Papa worked for is to put people together. It's to fight for the community, bring development.
Pa Ewane was loved by his children because he did not misuse any opportunity to advise them. The in-laws were also close to him, reason why his passing away is a great loss.
More than an in-law to me, because I have lived in the same roof with my in-law, and he was like a father to me. I told you, he was a coach to me, he was a critic to me, and that relationship of father-in-law and son-in-law no longer existed. So we live like father and son.
My father-in-law, Honorable Nsah Ewane, was a formidable in-law. It so happened that in the course of this year, I lost my mom and my father. He was the one wiping my tears. He was a comforter. In fact, I enjoyed my relationship with him. He was more of a friend than an in-law.
Honorable Nsah Ewane lived from the 4th of August 1932 to the 4th of October 2021 and has been finally laid to rest at his home village in Mwambong, 17 kilometers from Bangem town.
On November 18 to November 24 is observed worldwide as Antibiotic Awareness Week. It is observed this year under the theme Spread Awareness, Stop Resistance with regards to the misuse of antibiotics. Bokengo, please tell us more about Antibiotics Awareness Week.
Antibiotics are medicines used to prevent and treat bacterial infections. Over time,
With too much usage of antibiotics, bacterial infection becomes difficult for antibiotics to treat, hence the term antibiotic resistance. Triggered by poor infection control in hospitals and clinics, poor hygiene and sanitation practices, lack of rapid laboratory tests, unnecessary use of antibiotics as well as overprescribing of antibiotics. It is important to note that overuse and misuse of antibiotics doesn't only bring about antibiotic resistance but also can lead to a longer hospital stay, untreated common infection, as well as damage in vital organs like the liver. Experts say that by 2050, antibiotic resistance could be a bigger killing health hazard than cancer, with an estimated 10 million deaths predicted worldwide.
Bukengo, while this report concludes the 6:30 p.m. edition of News on My Media Prime Television. Coming up next is Prime Hour with Gumlena Ranisti. My name is Fon Quinter. Have a great night in the company of more programs on The African Eye. Stay with us. Bye.